Now coming to the most important hallmark of your writing, it's start your original writing for publication. I'm sure you'll be very enthusiastic in listening to this. How do you start your original writing for publication? In scientific writing, the first draft that you have taken by referring all the scientific work of the other people is very essential. Carefully read how the cited portion of the articles was written. Start writing. Read each line in a very diligent way. Comprehend how they have written and what is written. And always cite the author, because that will inform the reader that you have really referred a good deal amount of things. In your own words, write if you have done a thorough literature search. Use good scientific vocabularies. Don't worry about the English and grammar at this stage, but it's important for you to first write the content. Pre-editing. Pre-editing is read your own work. Check the grammar for the flow of narration. As I was saying before, the first phase is about the first draft. In the first draft, no need to worry about the grammar or English. It is about using scientific terms and to making the content in a very clear way. After the first draft, do the pre-editing. Pre-editing is once you have the first nice draft written, now you read your own work and check for the grammar, flow of thoughts, passage. Is one passage relating to other passage? Is one sentence correlating to the next sentence? You can move around. Write about one concept once only. There's no need for you to repeat. Don't insert new reference into the discussion. What I'm trying to say is, if you have used n number of articles or citations in your literature review, you have to discuss about those things in the discussion passage also. If you are going to insert a new reference into the discussion, remember you have to insert that in literature review also. Discussion is about discussing about the literature review, what you have done with the previous work of the authors, and arguing and writing how your research will contribute to the knowledge. Referencing the cited article accurately is very important. Completely write and read and pre-edit without no errors. Before giving to your supervisor, be very professional. Don't send the near ready copy, just okay submitting copies to your supervisor, because that will irritate their quality time. And that will also indirectly tell that you are not very serious about your writing. So before sending any document to your supervisor or could be to your reviewer, be very careful and let it be a very good formal document. Always adhere very keenly on the submission prerequisites. The important three core structure of your writing is, what's your hook? What are you trying to tell to the readers? Now you imagine what I want to inform the readers to know about your research. That's the first essential step. Then, wait, who are you? How did you get interested into this research? Any reader would like to know about it. That will also inform about the need of your research. And most importantly, what do you want? What did you find about with your research in doing all that? So, be always well structured in informing all these core three ideas in your research writing. Tailor your writing. Tailoring means in your PhD journey, you may have to write for articles, you may have to write for your academia, or sometimes you may have to write a simple report to the common people. So tailor your writing to the audience whom you are going to give about. If it is supposed to be given to a common person, the report should be in a easily understandable language. If it has to be submitted to the academic, you have to stick on with the academic protocols. Or else, if you're going to submit it as a thesis, you have to inform step by step on all the process of your research. Else, if you're going to submit to the article for publication in an index journal, you have to very clearly adhere to their protocols and stick on with the number of words what they are trying to inform, and always adhere with and go in coherent with the theme of the journal. Always think, if you meet a big CEO on the lift and you have got only few minutes for you to inform about your work to the best CEO of the world, so how would you inform? Would you be wasting your time in informing about what you have been doing and what you have come out with? You will be very clear in informing about yourself, about your product or your research, and then inform what the outcome of your research, how will it impact the CEO's business about. So in the same way, in writing, try not to waste the reader's time. Don't use long sentences for 3 or 4 or 5 lines. Always be very short and sweet. This does not mean that your sentence should have like 3 or 5 words, but as you write, you would just know probably for 7 words or so. And always have a start. The starting, don't jiggle around. What you want to trying to say, you just tell it very clearly in written words. There are 6 important C's for you to understand. Include all the information. Do not have any grammar or spelling, punctuation errors or vocabulary problems. Use modern vocabularies, positive language and personal tone. Positive language is very important for you to inform the reader, to inform the problems that in the society in a very neat way. Logically organize your flow well. Straight to the point. Don't beat around the bush. That will be boring and the reader will get distracted and will not be able to complete reading your work. And your writing should be easy to understand. In summary, I would say be very complete, be coherent, be concise, be courteous for the reader, to inform in a very straightforward way, and use correct word on the right sense and be very clear. As I was mentioning, the sentence length could be 27 or 17 words or 7. People say the maximum of 17 words should be an average length. What you talk is what you read. Write your talk. If it's very difficult for you to write what you're trying to say, just talk it out. Talk it out and then you write in your own words. Tell the word what you're trying to say in a written way. Reader's view on writing. Please remember, when you write, always focus on the reader's point of view rather than the writer's point of view. I would like to differentiate it in here. Whenever you write as a writer, the writer would like to know, to inform about his research, what he would like to say about it, what information he would like to include, what's the best way for him to say, what he would like to say first, and how would like to organize the ideas, and what does he mean by saying that. Please remember, in all these aspects, the reader would have a different thought. The reader does like to know about the topic in a different perspective. Remember, the reader would like to know more about the topic. If you are going to write about the known facts over and over again, the reader will not be interested to read your work. And the reader would want to hear what information that you are bringing new. What he would like to learn first. In order for the listener to hear, you have to give a very accurate information, and as the listener understand the message clearly is what you have to inform about. What information must you bring into the writing? The essential elements are, whenever you write, always remember the background, aim, interest or focus, overview, method, result and the conclusion. These has got various function. Whenever you write the background, explain about your unique contribution. I repeat, explain about your unique contribution. Aim, will help the listener to understand what will be there by the end of your study. Interest is about the concept and overview is about the outcome. Method is about how you have done your research, and the results is about the focus and the area of the outcome of your research, and the conclusion is what's your hook. So what have you found out new from the others? There are two basic approaches in writing. You can either start big and work into a small enough, or you can start from small and then work big. Whichever is best for you, you will start doing that. I would like to explain further on starting big. Starting big means whenever you want to write about your biggest reading about the whole concept. Write the key sentence and the main points. This is with the rough draft. Revert the material into shortened phases, and then the sentence structure has to be clear. Pay attention in your style. Make sure your points is on a flow and in a coherent way. As I said, we concentrate on the punctuations and make sure you follow all the C's, and then you make the final draft. Starting big is about informing the overall picture of the research and then focusing your idea into the important concrete term. Start small. Starting small means what does your research say about? What's your first line of argument? What is the purpose of your piece of work? Surface and the deeper purpose. Summarize your work in 6 words overall and then expand on it. I would like to summarize in here. It means starting small means what is your research about? How did you do and why did you do? And then you expand it in a bigger version. The power of process writing is about the best talk. The first P is about the power. Plan. O is for organize. Write is for write. Don't always think about writing. You just write. And E is for editing and R is for review. This is the power of writing. Match these writings in your heading also. Match these headings in your description. For example, the benefits, the objectives, the method, request, the contact details, dates, qualifications, cause, situations. So put all your random thoughts into it and then you organize your writing accordingly. There are also certain issues in writing. Using highly sophisticated technical terms, acronyms or slangs. Whenever you use acronyms, when you use the acronym in the first time, you please expand it and then you could use the acronym. When you use acronym, use the standard acronym. Don't phrase your own acronym which could be incorrect and the reader would find it hard to understand. Not being focused is one of the issues in writing, and not practicing what you are going to say is another big hurdle there. So practice makes perfect. Other problems in writing are being robotic. Robotic means just writing the basic way without highlighting the important aspect, without informing in a very simple way, all the time being sophisticated. So all these things are being robotic. Try not to be very robotic. Not having a takeaway from your writing. The reader would like to know what you are trying to say to the world. So inform it in a very clear way. And not saying anything with clarity, being all the time ambiguous, will not inform the reader having a great interest in reading your writing. What do you do to improve your writing skill? Whenever you want to write, if you want your listener to listen very carefully, how would you make it very interesting? Think about it. Make a very nice, interesting story out of it and then make it as a line form and then write it. There are different ways to answer the question. What do you do? When you want to write, we always say take a research that you are passionate about. Don't say take some research just for the point of doing your PhD. Take a research that you will really like to work about, that you really like to find about, that you will really be proud in carrying your research about. There's always a phrase saying, do what you love and you will never work a day in your life. So when you take a research that you really like and you're really passionate about, I'm sure you will do great things with your research. There's something called as netic. Netic is when you write and your writing is going to go online, always be netic careful. Netic is a term which was coined in 1982. This word netic is a combination of net and etic. It means respecting others' views and displaying common courtesy with posing viewing online. Netic in writing means remembering that the readers or the informants of your research is human. Whenever you're going to put your writing as a publication, remember it's going to go online and it is going to impact the real life. So be very cautious by informing the evidence-based things. And remember, you will also be in the cyberspace. Respect other person's time and bandwidth. Make yourself look good in writing. Keep your flame of words under control. Review with expert people's knowledge. Respect other person's privacy. Here, if a participant of your research would like to inform about his issue without mentioning his name, please respect his privacy. You can always put it in bracket. The details given by the participant are confidential. And don't be abusive. Don't use abusive language in your writing. Think like the person who would be reading your work. A final caution and consideration. Dear scholars, please be very aware of the freely available plagiarism checking software. Be cautious. Something which is always freely given, it's not really free. It could be fishy. I have experienced and also witnessed lots of students suffering with this. Once when you commonly use the freely available checking software, most of the data gets into the Google, and when you have to do the other final plagiarism checking which is done by the university, it will show plagiarism. So always be cautious. At the university, UGC has provided good plagiarism checking softwares. Always use that with the help of your dean research or your supervisors. It's always important for you to retain a copy of all your writing. It's also good for you to email yourself back and forth about all your progressive work, because anything could happen during the research. For instance, your laptop could have been broken, there could be a fire accident on the travel, somebody would have taken your USB or thumb drive. So always think of the worst that could happen and always be protective and precautious. It's always nice to have all your details as one folder, probably all your ethical clearance, all your core submission components, your annual reviews, all your chapters, a sample thesis, or all your literature reviews. Put all that together. So if you have to travel around, you may not miss any documents, and always have copy, probably one in a bigger folder in your cupboard, in a safe locker, or in your laptop, and another one along with a supervisor or somebody whom you really trust. It's always good for you to read and reread your work, because this is such a formal document. You don't want to show yourself off before the academicians. So it's important that you read and reread until you're really happy about your reading, and it should be really fine-tuned. It's as because you all keep reading and keep writing, it's often says that sometimes you may even skip important little details of it. So it's essential that you do reverse reading. Reverse reading is, for example, in a paragraph you've written 10 lines, read from the 10th line and then go to the next line, and then the 8th line, and then the 7th, and so on. So when you do the reverse reading, you can also accomplish any of your writing to the best standards, because you will really see all the little details, and your research could be the best. One important other final word that I would say, and I have also experienced, is always, every day on your academic, always do little bit extra, which I mean is if you have taken time of writing 2 hours together, and that's the time that you have allotted for this day, do little bit more, which means do at least 5 or 10 minutes extra writing or an extra reading. You know what, the next day that will be a fabulous moment for you to achieve more and much greater things the next day. So it's always good for you to do little bit more, and that little bit more will always take you over to high future. I would like to wish you a great PhD writing journey and all the very best. I am Hepsibah Sharmil signing off here. Thank you.